bake with California prunes. We're going to make the most delicious shortbread sandwich with California prunes and blueberries running through the middle, a nice crumbly top. And then I'm going to show you how to make a California prune and Prosecco tiramisu. Right, time for the shortbread. So I'm going to get my blueberries out. Oh, I've gone for frozen blueberries because they are much cheaper, and we're going to cook them down anyway, so don't waste your money on fresh. So straight into a pan. There we go. Pop that on the heat. Now we're trying to make sort of a jam, but a slightly healthier jam. So we're going to use our lovely California prunes instead of sugar because they've got wonderful sweetness, natural, and also as they cook down with the blueberries, they'll kind of thicken it like a jam. So you don't need to add any sugar, which can be only a good thing really, can't it? Then all we're going to add for liquid is a little bit of lime juice. Now that will work really well because it will cut through the sweetness. So give them a squeeze, and to be honest, just leave the limes in there. Try and get as much flavour out of it as you can. So instead of water, add flavour, all right? And vitamin C and deliciousness. Always turn your limes inside out and then squeeze them, and you get that little bit more juice. Right, just gonna wash my hands. Right, let's leave that to cook. Shortbread, okay? 250 grams of butter. Might sound like a lot will do to you, won't it, Emily? Yeah. But it's a block of butter. So it's a good recipe, it's a good all-rounder. I think there's nothing more annoying than a recipe where you just need a little bit of a packet. And you end up with like half bits of bobs and all sorts all the time. So
you like a nice round
a block of butter. That's a good recipe. 125 grams of caster sugar. Okay, so half the amount of sugar to fat, and then we're just going to beat it together. This is my standard shortbread recipe. I've been doing this for years and years and years. It has served me well as an all-rounder, whether you're adding chocolate chips to it or what you're doing. So just room temperature butter, because then it mixes together and beats really quickly. If you're using fridge temperature, it'll take a long time to cream together. And the idea is that you are amalgamating sugar and butter together into one texture. Scoop that bit. There we go. I do love my cordless mixer. It has changed my world. It's the simple things in life that please you. Exactly. I'm mobile, baby. Right. Okay.
Making pancakes at a festival next.
Yeah. Right. So you can see now. Can you see which camera would you like that to?
Overhead.
Overhead. There you go. Right. 1 egg yolk for richness. And this is where the French shortbread and the Scottish shortbread go like that. All right? The egg yolk. French shortbreads have an egg yolk in and are delicately brought together. A Scottish shortbread is mixed until it forms, okay? I prefer this way. It's up to you. So in with our egg yolk.
So why just the egg yolk and not the whole egg?
Too much volume of liquid. The egg yolk will give a richness, and it will also give nice colour, and it will help firm things up.
Right.
Yeah? Whereas if you added the whole thing, it would just become like a biscuit almost, really. So just the egg yolk. It's more like a sablé, which is a particular type of French shortbread. Okay, that will do. That'll do. Right. Let those just boil down. Okay, so now remember, if you've got any questions about today's recipes or last week's or the week before's or anything, to be perfectly honest, just post it in the comments below and I will answer as best I can. And if you want any of our recipes from this series, just type free book in the comments below. It will launch into Facebook Messenger and it will follow the instructions and it will automatically deliver you a little PDF recipe of all our California Prune recipes from this mini-series. This is the last episode. Next series we're moving on to is Take 5? Yes. Take 5 ingredients. So we will be creating a brand new series, broadcasting every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. UK time on Facebook. And it will be all about beautiful recipes using 5 primary ingredients. Okay? So, there we go. Now, 375 grams of plain flour. Now, Carlos, if you wouldn't mind just popping the ingredients down this side here, and that'll give you the ingredients list together with the recipes, and you will be good to go. All right, so now we're going to add our flour and just stir it together. And because we've used room temperature butter, it's super easy. If you want, you can whack it all in the tabletop mixer if you wanted to, and it would do all the hard work for you, but it messes with our audio, so we've done it by hand today.
I think sometimes as well it's nice to be able to feel the texture of it.
Yeah.
Because you know that it's not going to overmix if you do it by hand.
Yeah, I mean, the minute you add flour, that's when you're adding gluten, that's when you're adding, you know, if you overwork it, it becomes quite a tough biscuit, whereas if you are a bit more careful about bringing it all together, you will end up with a much nicer shortbread.
So is this where you'd add flavours to it if you want?
Yeah,
to?
chocolate chips, good chocolate chips.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Okay, so let's pour it out onto the worktop. This is where it gets a little bit messy, but we don't mind that.
Nope.
So you can see we've got like this sort of crumble texture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take just under half. There we go. And then I'm going to mix this and use the warmth of my hands to create a shortbread dough. Okay. And there you have shortbread. Okay. So what I'm going to do...
Soft.
Yeah, it's warm today as well, so it can be quite soft. So what I want to do is I want to get it about that size. So I've got a baking mat here. What I'll do is I'll grab a little bit of flour and then we'll just dust a little bit of flour on there, a little bit on there.
I've always wondered, and this might sound like a really stupid question.
No such thing as a stupid question, Emily.
What would happen to a shortbread if you use self-raising flour?
It would rise
Does it
and go all poofy.
Does it have like still have a biscuit texture, or does it?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be like that nice buttery, crumbly shortbread. It would be a bit aerated and a bit cakey.
Oh, right. Okay.
Go a bit cakey.
Right.
It wouldn't be not edible,
No.
but
I always wondered, like.
it would be a bit cakey
Yeah.
for what you're trying to achieve with a
Yeah.
shortbread. That's all. So, all I'm doing is I'm using my baking mat. So this is like a silicone baking mat. So it's guaranteed not to stick, which is always good. And it means that I can roll it to the shape I need it to be and then just trim it.
What's your favourite way to use shortbread?
Chocolate and orange sablaise, all the way. Loads of chocolate, dark chocolate, loads of orange zest. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's in my first book. Let me show you. So, this was my first cookbook that I wrote. I self-published this because I couldn't get a publisher in those days. And the very first recipe that I wrote, which I don't really know where it is. Let me see. There you go. Chocolate and orange shortbreads.
Oh, nice.
Sablaise. Learned how to make them in Saint-Gervais when I went skiing.
Oh.
Before kids, when I used to have lots of fun. Used to go skiing every winter. Straight after New Year, we'd shut the shop up in Keswick. And we would like New Year's Day, we would go on holiday skiing for a week. Great days, loved it. Need to get back there, really. Okay, so let's just flip this over, trim our shortbread so it's the same size. What's your favourite flavour? Whichever one I make.
Well, yeah, that. I am quite traditional. I do love a plain shortbread.
Do you?
But, yeah.
You're willing to be converted to chocolate and orange?
I've had your chocolate orange ones before and they are very good.
Good dark chocolate, loads of orange zest.
Yeah.
Always a winner. Okay, so. Oh, look what I've done. Just missed a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is just get underneath my baking mat. Transfer it onto there. So there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this in the oven for 10 minutes. Give it a head start. All right, so I'm just a few little holes. Just for no other reason than because I've always done it this way. I'm not really sure why I do this, but I do. There we go, and we're going to pop that into the oven, 160 degrees. We're going to give that 10 minutes while the California prune and blueberry jam cooks down, because you don't want it too watery. You want to evaporate that water out and concentrate the flavours, and then allow those California prunes to just kind of melt into it. And then this is going to be our topping, okay? So we're going to grab some oats, and this will kind of open up the texture a bit. Okay, make it go a bit further. We're kind of making like a crumble topping. The only thing this is missing is custard.
Oh no!
Yeah.
My dad would say that.
Thomas likes, do you know what Thomas likes? A flapjack with custard for his pudding.
No, oh Thomas. Oh Thomas.
He loves it. He doesn't like puddings, really, but he likes custard and he likes flapjack.
The only thing that custard is allowed with is a sticky toffee pudding or a gingerbread.
Oh, no, ice cream with sticky toffee
Well,
pudding
yeah,
all
to
the
be
way.
fair.
Not custard.
My grandma serves it with custard, but...
Well, you're the Cumbrian, so I guess you're the traditional, not me.
Sticky gingerbread with custard, yeah. But my dad will have flapjack. But to be fair, I'm looked at weird because I have yogurt with my flapjacks.
Dear.
Like, I think hot custard with flapjack.
Eh?
Hot custard with flapjack.
Right, jam's nearly ready. Shortbread's had a little head start, so let's get that out because once it's covered, it'll take longer to bake, so it is quite important that you do give it that little head start. So, on with our fruit. So, we need to fish out the limes because they've done their work. They can go straight into the bin. We have got every ounce of goodness out of that. And then just mash the California prunes and the blueberries together. And you're going to end up with this lovely fruit compote. Now, if you don't use it all, just keep it because you can put it on your porridge. You can use it on your toast instead of jam. It's just a really simple, fresh jam rather than a preserved jam. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were you about to ask me something then? Did I steal your thunder?
Serve it with ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Good call, Emily. Especially in this weather. It's lovely and warm today. Right. So that's mashed up enough. Doesn't need to be loads because you still want sort of nice bits of fruit. But look at the texture now. It just looks like I've warmed jam up. So if you're looking for a sort of healthier alternative to jam, here you go. Pete's found it for you. California prune and blueberry jam. Done. No sugar added, just fruit. That's it. There's nothing else gone into this but fruit.
Could you use something like that, Pete? You know, like a little jam tart?
Yeah, of course you could. I think you use it for anything. The only difference really is the fact that it's not going to keep in a cupboard. It's not preserved. It needs to be in the fridge. Now, take your crumble and just pop it on. Work quite quickly because you don't want the butter to melt. All right? And also, you don't want to press this down too much. You just want to push it gently until you've covered the jam. Okay?
That looks really good.
Doesn't it? It's like pudding, this. This is like a Californian English pudding. But you don't need a bowl. You'll be able to just eat it. Now I'm just gonna scrape a little bit of that crumble over to the edges for me because I can see some jam. But I don't want to press it down, you see. So just spread it over. Just take your time just to cover everything. And you're just going to get the same flavours of the shortbread, but a slightly different texture. It's somewhere crumbly, flapjacky. Oh, it's going to be good. I used to serve something like this in the cafe. It was lovely. With a good cup of coffee.
Yeah.
There we go. Right, back in the oven, 160 degrees for about 15, 16 minutes. Okay, while our shortbread is cooking, I'm going to show you how to make the most amazing California Prune and Prosecco tiramisu. Okay, now it's time for a California Prune and Prosecco tiramisu. Now, tiramisu normally would be served with coffee. Now, when I went to Italy and I spent some time in Tuscany, we had a summer tiramisu with fruits and Prosecco, and it was absolutely blooming delicious. So I thought we would make one today. So, got my California prunes. They're going straight into my bowl there. And then we're going to add not too much of this because, let's face it, Emma's going to want the rest of this when I've finished. So I better not use it all. No. So, Prosecco. And what we're going to do, we're going to heat the Prosecco and the California prunes together to sort of bring the flavours together. The prunes will swell up. They'll be lapping it up in a bath full of Prosecco. Who wouldn't want to be like
Sounds
that?
good to me.
Exactly. Me too. So, right. Oh, that was a good one. Right, in we go. So, don't go mad. Just enough Prosecco to cover and put it on full heat. We want them to swell up. Okay? Pop that to one side for Mrs. Sidwell. Right, while that is going, what we're going to do is we're going to take some cream and we're going to whip it up. And we're going to mix it together with mascarpone, which is just delicious. But first things first, let's get this cream whipped up. Every time. There we go. Right. Doesn't need to be really like piping. We just need to get it soft peak. Or heavy cream if you're watching in America. Sorry, forgot to mention that. It's funny, isn't it, how we have these... Hey?
Double cream.
In America, it's heavy cream. In this country, we call it double cream.
What do they call single cream then?
Not heavy. I don't know. If you're in America and you're watching, if you have single cream, pouring cream, tell me what it's called in America. It could be pouring cream.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just cut this bit out. Let's take it.
Nah.
Heavy cream.
Heavy cream. No, I think it's pouring cream.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then whipping cream, I have no idea what whipping cream is compared to double cream. Not a clue.
We've got whipping cream over here as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, that's what I mean. I still don't know to this...
Isn't it? I think it's like one that you don't mix. You get it to that. It allows you to get to that stage
Okay.
rather than it going really thick.
Let's get on to the star. Mascarpone. That's what it's all about, this stuff. So nice.
Tiramisu was I was in Venice.
Oh.
And I just did them in little plastic trays in the supermarket.
Italians, their food is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their desserts, not so amazing, apart from ice cream and tiramisu. Other than that,
Yeah.
you can keep it.
Yeah. No, it's. I remember they came in their little supermarket, little plastic trays.
Yeah.
And what should have served two, served one.
Good tiramisu. It's nice.
I
Right.
had a fruity one though.
Well, I hadn't until I'd gone to Italy. We were there in the summer, and in Italy, if it's not in season or if they've got something in abundance, they use it.
Yeah.
So I think we had raspberry and melon tiramisu.
Oh,
And the melons in Italy are flipping amazing.
Really?
I don't really like melon that much.
No.
But it really worked. And exactly the same, biscuits, you know, cake, lady's fingers, raspberries, melon, and then beautiful cream and mascarpone whipped together.
Ooh.
Oh, it was amazing. So, in with our mascarpone. Now, Carlos will put the ingredients down the side there so that you can get the recipe, or at least the ingredients. But if you want our recipes, go into the comments below and just type in free book. It will launch into Messenger, Facebook Messenger, follow the instructions, and the recipe book will come to you by the magic of that thing called the internet. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it, when it works?
Yeah.
So we're just mixing that together.
They just passed me a spoon and I didn't fell out the bowl.
I've got a little thing to add to it, yeah. One little touch just to make it extra yummy. So we're going to add a little squidge of honey. Not much. There we go. And that will just give a slight sweet edge to it, so it's not just cream. There we go. Done. Might have to have a little taste, make sure it's all right. It's not bad, that. Not bad at all. Right. Our prunes and our Prosecco. There we go. And you see how the liquid is kind of, the Prosecco and the prunes have just done this. And they've just mingled all together. And now, you know, they're like best friends. These California prunes are going to taste so good now they've sat in Prosecco. Yeah. So good. Right. Okay, so I've got these little glasses, which I thought would be quite good for tiramisu. I always think tiramisu is better as an individual. Now, if you haven't got glasses or like this, do it in cups. Just do everyone a little cup, all right? So I want 3 California prunes in the bottom for each one. So you get this lovely sort of well of flavour. And then we're going to take the Prosecco syrup, sit that over the top. Going to do 3 spoons in each one because you want a bit of excess for the lady's fingers. So just pour that Prosecco on. There we go. We'll go back to that again in a minute. Now, lady's fingers. You could use any cake that you've got, that if it needs using up. But if you're going to, I think with the lady's fingers, they're quite dry. So they absorb the moisture. So if you were doing a traditional, they would absorb the coffee. They are good. Mmm. Wow, they're really good. In fact, hang on a minute. I'm going to finish this. They're good, aren't they? They're dried out cake, so they do this job really well. And see, when I press down, can you see that, Emily?
Yeah.
They absorb instantly the flavour and they become a bit trifly.
Yeah.
Trifly good.
Oh.
Oh, very English of me. So I've got 2 ladies' fingers in each one. Press them down. I'm going to eat some more of those later. They are good. And then let's take another one of our lovely California prunes, sit that on top. There we go. And just press everything down. Give it a little chance to all mingle together. Okay? Lovely. Right. Take our mascarpone and cream and honey and fill it up.
Nice.
This is quite possibly the worst spoon I could have chosen to do this, but we'll make it work.
It's allowed to be a little bit freestyle though, isn't it?
Yeah. With the magic of edit, it will look beautiful.
Nice.
Right, let me just grab a palette knife, and then all we do is we just, in the middle, go to one side, then go to the other, and just tidy up. There we go.
So would you tidy it up or would you leave it like the way?
Oh, I think I have to tidy up. I couldn't leave it like that.
Really?
No. And I quite like rustic, but I don't know. I've got to do that. I've got to tidy it up. Because I want to put a nice, clean layer of cocoa powder on the top, you see.
Oh, okay.
It's got to look a bit like a cappuccino, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, what a mess. Anyway. There we go. Right. Let me just get a cloth. So the great thing about these is if you've got friends coming around for dinner, which we were just talking about actually, how much we now sort of cook at home and maybe eat out a little bit less. So making eating in with friends that bit better is a good thing, I think. And I think a lot more people are doing it. You know, restaurant style dishes at home. Why not? There we go. Just wash my hands. Right. Now, all good tiramisus need a little bit of dusting on the top. So we'll get some cocoa powder. It's quite important you don't use hot chocolate powder because that's sweet. And we want that little bit of bitterness. So we just dust it with a bit of cocoa powder. Because then when you go through the bitterness and then you get the sweetness of the cream and then the richness of the California prunes and the Prosecco bottom, it's just a great combo, really. Great combination. Get them whacked in the fridge and let them sit, and they will just sort of firm up. And then to serve them, I like to serve them on some sauces. This might mess with your head, Emily, this, because there are none of them match. Are you all right with that?
Yeah.
You're okay?
Yeah,
They're all blues and whites.
I like the style of it.
Okay, but there you go. That is how to make the most delicious California prune and Prosecco tiramisu. Here is our wonderful crumble shortbread with California prune and blueberry jam through the middle. There you go. That is how to make two amazing desserts using California prunes. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode.